getting ready to restart. Darrell, what could the 5 have done to avoid this happening?
Well, you see right here, right in the middle of the corner, he clears the 78. He's got him cleared right there. He should have come right up the racetrack. Right there was the gap. He should have gotten in. But he was in doubt. He wasn't sure if he was clear. Even though the spotter said he was clear, he eased up there, and Regan was there, and they made contact. If he'd have come right up once he got him cleared, that'd have never happened.
We talked so much about those 5 or 6 drivers involved. How about how close Brad Keselowski came to being involved in that?
Yeah, and Jimmy Johnson down here.
Here's our KFC Fresh start. KFC, come in today and taste why fresh is better. We restart at lap 46 of 500. A.J. Allmendinger, Martin Truex, and the 5 drivers behind them did not stop. And as you look at that number 55 Toyota, that's not Mark Martin this week. Brian Vickers returns to the series to drive 6 races for MWR beginning today.
And
he's in third.
You saw right there the 56 of Truex and Vickers in the 55. They came off the corner and they're respecting each other. They gave each other a little room. Of course, they would their teammates, but they did it the right way.
Behind them, Dale Jr. and Jeff Burton side by side. Couple of past Bristol winners. Earnhardt on the inside, and then pole sitter Greg Biffle. Biffle is the first driver in this race who made the pit stop at lap 41.
Oh boy, June got his car plumb sideways off turn 2 over there.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 car ran a lot of laps yesterday. Actually looked pretty good on the long run. One of the drivers that stayed out under that caution.
He likes that bottom. That's kind of old school.
Second place, Vickers to the inside. Hasn't raced since last season. Trying to make the most of this opportunity, and teammate Truex powers past in the 56.
Best thing those 2 guys can do, the 56 and the 55, respect each other and just take it easy. Don't do anything dumb right now, boys. Did I say dumb?
No. That settles down. Let's go back to 11th place. Matt Kenseth on the outside of Brendan Gaughan in the 33 and Eric Almirola in the 43. Ryan Newman trying to come back up through along with Paul Menard in the 27.
Now Brendan Gaughan in the 33, one of the drivers that stayed out. Matt Kenseth in that 17 took right side tires on his car.
And Larry, we mentioned before the accident about the 22 of Allmendinger chasing down Greg Biffle. Now that he's out front, I think he's really just pacing himself, running some pretty good laps, but not pushing it. Right now, if you're back in the field a little bit, you're just sizing people up. Can I get by this guy on the inside? Do I need to go up high on the outside? Just sort of sitting here right now, if you're racing somebody, sizing a guy up, see how you got to get by him.
Speaking of racing, Brian Vickers in that 55 is all over Martin Truex Jr. in that 56. You saw Martin sideways. I think Vickers will clear him this time.
I think Martin said, you want it that bad? Have at it. Martin ran good here. He's been really good here at Bristol the last couple of times we've been here.
You know, looking at Brian Vickers, what a 2 years that young man has had. You know, in May of 2010 was told he could not race because he had blood clots. Then he was finally cleared. The race team he drove for last year, Red Bull, closes the doors. He has no ride leading into 2012. Michael Waltrip Racing gives him the opportunity to run 6 races this year.
And I think this is almost like an audition for Brian Vickers to get his credibility back. He made a lot of people mad at the end of last year, particularly at Martinsville. I think he's trying to get some respect.
There's your leader, Allmendinger. First time he's led here in 11 trips to Bristol. Third place, Dale Earnhardt, or fourth place now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. behind the Dinger. Vickers and Truex. Jeff Burton settles into 5th. But back at the end of the top 20, things are really heating up. Watch the 51, Kurt Busch, trying to hang on to that car. He's a 5-time Bristol winner like his brother. Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42, and Tony Stewart right behind Montoya has tried 3 wide on the outside, 2 wide on the inside. And I think Stewart has just concluded, I've got nowhere to go and no way to get there.
I think the old champ is going to see what unfolds here before he gets too aggressive.
We talked about it in that first run. It's only been about 14 laps since the restart. They're already more than a half a lap down to leader A.J. Allmendinger.
Stewart gains purchase on the inside, clears Montoya, and goes after Kurt Busch, who's fighting a loose car on the outside. And then just ahead, the 10 of David Rudiman.
That explains what tail happy means, because that baby is tail happy.
Except for the happy part.
Yeah, he's not happy.
Closing up on Rudiman and Boyer in the 15. Here's the view out the back of the 5-hour energy cam in Boyer's car.
Boy, you come off the corner underneath somebody. It's a fine line. You got to really tiptoe when you're down under them and hope that you don't slip.
And as Casey Kane earlier, Stewart going into the corner, he can all but clear Kurt Busch, but doesn't want to slide up in front of him for just what happened to Kane and Regan Smith.
And Tony knows that, and he's given Kurt lots of room. He's not forcing himself up in front of him like Casey tried to do.
Last August, Stewart went a lap down here within the first 70 laps of the race, then went 2 laps down before lap 200. Where'd he finish? 3rd. 7th place, Brad Keselowski and pole sitter Greg Biffle. Now, they both stopped at lap 41. Different agendas, and Kevin Harvick had a lot of damage from that incident at lap 23, but back out and running and still on the lead lap.
Yeah, pretty impressed what his team did. He pitted 9 times. He restarted back in 35th, and now he's worked his way up inside the top 25, working now on David Gilliland in that 38.
Back up front, Allmendinger holds a 1.5-second cushion, which at Bristol is huge.
He better enjoy it, because when he catches to the back of the field, then that's when the 55 will catch up, and probably everybody else.
And that'll begin the world's fastest conveyor belt around the half-mile at Bristol. Trying to win his first Cup race, now behind the wheel for Roger Penske. A.J. Allmendinger is your leader.
No, next question.
NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds.
Let's take an inside look at what's happening in the Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint. Most laps led, Greg Biffle. And the biggest mover, Jeff Burton, who did not stop under that caution, has come from 33rd, now to 4th. Get unlimited access to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with live in-car audio and real-time stats. Only on the Sprint Network, the only national carrier with truly unlimited data. Learn more at sprint.com/speed.
Yeah, you talked about some of those guys up front here not stopping. In the past, that would have been a pretty good move. But this thing has a history lately of for long periods of time. Man, a green flag pit stop, and you're talking about a lap and a half, maybe 2 laps down if you have to stop under green.
Yeah, the good news is with all those cautions we ran under that first caution, our top 5 drivers they've not been to pit road, they should be able to go another probably 65, 70 laps from as we sit right now.
Well, let's check on the 5th place car, one of those that did not stop. Steve.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they've got some pit strategies. Started 18th, now 5th. Dale Jr. just telling crew chief Steve Letarte that his car is just a little bit loose.
And you know, I'd say this deep into a run, Darrell, just a little bit loose. That's probably not a bad thing. As long as the back end's not hanging way out, you don't want that thing to start pushing where you can't turn the race car.
Yeah, you just got to, slow down and take what you got. You got track position right now. Don't lose all of it here with the car not handling good. But I keep watching Allmendinger in the 22 car, and he is driving a masterful race. I know we're only 85 laps into the race, but he's patient. The car is good. He's working the bottom. He's working the top. And he's really not worrying about the fact that Martin Truex and Brian Vickers are catching him a little bit. He's being really wise how he's driving the car right now.
And right now, he's dealing with drivers that are desperately trying to stay on the lead lap, like Bobby Labonte in that 47.
Got a really good race car, and that doesn't surprise me, Larry. I mean, let's think about the history of the 22 car here. That's Kurt Busch. That's his old car, and he's run a lot of laps here and won some races.
And here's Kyle Busch getting back behind the wheel of his Joe Gibbs number 18. Looks like they got it patched up enough to get him back on track.
And if you want to talk about a miserable day, have trouble early at Bristol and then go out there in a car that's patched up. Try to stay out of the way. Try to get as many laps, get as good a finish as you can. That's a miserable day at Bristol.
Bobby Labonte hanging tough and staying on the tail end of the lead lap against A.J. Allmendinger. I think it needs to be aggressive to clear Labonte, but not so aggressive that he jeopardizes his lead, and company's coming.
Yeah, these two guys here, I knew when they got in traffic they'd be catching up to Allmendinger. He's just got to bite his tongue and bide his time, man, because you just can't get by these lap cars as easy as you'd like to.
If you look back there at that maroon car on the bottom, Jeff Burton, he all of a sudden has moved into the picture here. He's running in fourth, and right behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88.
Now, in defense of Bobby Labonte, who is running the leader really hard right now, his tires are 41 laps fresher than A.J. Allmendinger's because Labonte was one of the cars that stopped during the caution flag.
You're going to have to be able to work the bottom. I mean, I said it in practice yesterday. Everybody's going to run the top side, and so you got to be able to get around them on the inside. They give you the whole bottom of the racetrack. You got to be able to use that.
Here comes Vickers. Whoa! He and Truex tied tight together. Michael Waltrip, you own both those 55 and 56 cars. How nervous does this make you?
I just want them not to run into each other, guys. We saw at the end of Vegas where the Roush cars got together, and this is a little bit tense right now.
Well, Vickers in the 55 has cleared Truex in the 56. Brian Vickers is wanting to go up there and try to lead this race.
And here comes Junior.
Yeah, look at Junior. He's got that high line getting around on that. Oh!
3 wide. Burton on the inside, Junior on the outside, and they send Martin Truex back to 5th place.
Well, they ought to all thank Bobby Labonte. Right now, that's opening the door for Brian Vickers. He's going to take the lead right here.
It's like he gets off turn 2 a little bit better than A.J. Allmendinger. Here they go back. Vickers back to the bottom through 3 and 4.
Look what a gap he can pull through the center of the corner. Now he's got the lead, and he's got a car that can run the bottom, and that's just so critical.
And it's been how long since he drove in a Sprint Cup race?
Well, it's been a while, but you know, the other thing I worry about for him is stamina. When you haven't been in a car for a while, buddy, this place can suck it out of you.
But Darrell, will it suck it out of you when you're up there leading a race like that?
Well, it's not as noticeable.
Good job, man. Leader.
Vickers the leader, closing in on 100 laps complete. Allmendinger second, Earnhardt, Truex, and Burton the top 5.